You might think a travel medical kit is just a few pills in your pocket, but once you're on the road, everything changes. A poorly packed medication, a worn label, or the absence of a prescription can ruin your trip before it even begins. Every country has its own rules, and what's normal at home might raise suspicion abroad. These 14 tips will help you pack your medicine smartly, pass airport security smoothly, and stay healthy wherever you go. Don't take chances at the border. Be prepared. First, make a list of all necessary medications. Before any trip, the most important thing is not your suitcase, passport, or tickets. It's a list of medications without which your vacation could turn into a nightmare. Many people remember their travel kit at the last minute, throw in a few painkillers, and think, I'll buy the rest when I get there. But in reality, the drug you need might not be available abroad. It may require a prescription, go by a different name, or be banned altogether. To avoid that, make a clear list at least 3 days before departure. Include all medications you take regularly, those you might need in emergencies, and your usual travel essentials for pain, fever, allergies, poisoning, colds, bites, and so on. Divide them into categories: essential, supportive, emergency. Write down the form: pill, ointment, spray, dosage, and basic purpose. This list helps not only with packing, but also in case of lost luggage, customs checks, medical visits abroad, or emergencies. Print it and keep a copy in your kit, save it on your phone, and email it to yourself. It's best to have it in 2 languages, your native language and English. If you're going to a country with a different alphabet, add translations in the local language too. Second, check the rules for importing medication into the country. Before packing your medical kit, make sure to check which medications are allowed in the country you're traveling to. This is not a formality, it's a crucial step. Different countries have completely different laws, and something that's sold freely at home may be banned abroad. This applies especially to strong medications, painkillers, sleeping pills, hormones, anti-anxiety drugs, and even common nasal sprays with vasoconstrictors. If you don't research this in advance, you could face serious problems at the airport. Medications may be confiscated, and in some cases, you might even be charged with illegal importation, even if the medicine is for personal use without the right documents or legal knowledge. You risk losing access to it right when you need it most. Check official customs or embassy websites for the country you're visiting. Pay attention not just to your destination, but also to transit countries if you have layovers. Sometimes, a layover in a country with strict rules can trigger a search or seizure, even during a short stop. Third, bring a prescription for every prescription drug. If you're carrying even one prescription-only drug, make sure to bring the original prescription or a medical summary that clearly lists the drug name, dosage, and reason for use. Even if you've never had a problem with it at home, it may be considered controlled or restricted abroad, and it will be confiscated during inspection if you don't have proof. A prescription isn't just for customs. It's also useful if your luggage is lost, if there's a medical emergency, if your flight is delayed, or if you need to buy the medicine in another country. A foreign pharmacist will not give you an equivalent without documentation, and showing a photo of the packaging is not enough. An official prescription proves that you legally take this medication for medical reasons. Make sure the prescription includes the international name of the active ingredient in Latin script, along with the doctor's name, signature, and date. Don't write it by hand. It should be on an official form, ideally stamped. The more formal it looks, the fewer questions you'll face. Fourth, translate your prescriptions into English. Medical documents written only in Russian may have no legal value abroad. Even if you carry a doctor's prescription, customs or border officers might not be able to read or understand it. That's why translating prescriptions into English is a necessary step when preparing for an international trip. The translation doesn't need to be notarized. It just has to be clear, accurate, and neatly formatted. It should include international names of the medications, their purpose, dosage, the doctor's name, and signature. It's especially important that the active ingredients are listed according to international classifications, not just the brand names you're used to seeing at home. This translation can be useful not only at the border, but also if you need to show documents at a pharmacy, in a hospital, or to explain to flight staff why you're carrying a specific drug. It also helps avoid unnecessary questions and suspicion during security checks, especially if your kit includes strong, hormonal, or psychotropic medications. Fifth, pack original boxes. Don't repackage pills. One of the most common mistakes when preparing a travel medical kit is pouring pills into zip bags, plastic containers, or pill organizers to save space. While it may be convenient, this is risky and strongly discouraged, especially for international flights. Without original packaging, a drug loses its legal protection. It becomes harder to identify and nearly impossible to prove it's legitimate. Unmarked tablets, especially white or round ones, can raise serious concerns at security checkpoints. They don't show a name, dosage, or ingredients, and no one is required to take your word for it, even if you show a photo of the original box. In some countries, unboxed medication is considered contraband, which alone is reason for seizure or further inspection. Even if you're only bringing a few pills, take them in blister packs or bottles inside their original box, where the trade name, composition, manufacturer, and expiration date are clearly visible. This is especially important for prescription, hormonal, cardiac, pain relief, and insulin-based medications. The more it looks like something bought from a pharmacy, the smoother your screening will be. Sixth, avoid unmarked tablets. Unmarked tablets are a threat not just to your health, but also to your peace of mind in the airport. Even if you're absolutely sure of what the drug is and feel confident using it, any pill without visible identification can raise red flags at security, especially if it's loose in your kit, in your pocket, or mixed into a general container. In some countries, medications without markings are considered banned from import, regardless of what they contain. If a tablet has no letters, numbers, or manufacturer symbols, there's no way to identify it on the spot. And even a valid prescription may not help. There's simply no visual way to prove that this tablet matches what's listed. At best, it will be confiscated. At worst, you could be detained for questioning. Even while traveling, it can be hard to remember what each pill is for, especially if you take several. Without markings, it's easy to mix up dosages, miss a dose, or take the wrong one. And when you're stressed, jet-lagged, or tired, that can become dangerous. Seventh, prepare documents for strong medications. If your travel kit includes strong medications, such as hormonal drugs, painkillers, psychotropics, sedatives, or anything containing codeine, tramadol, methadone, phenobarbital, or similar substances, you can't just throw them in your suitcase. You'll need proper documentation proving that these medications are prescribed to you and are for personal use only. Even if these drugs are available by prescription or over-the-counter in your home country, they may be classified as controlled or even prohibited substances elsewhere. Without proper documentation, you risk having them confiscated, facing fines, or even being charged with a crime. This is especially important when flying through regions like the Middle East, Asia, or the US, where medication laws are extremely strict. The document must be printed on official letterhead, signed by your doctor, and stamped by the clinic. It should include the drug's full international name, dosage, form, frequency of use, and medical justification. Ideally, the letter should be in English or include a certified translation. In some countries, an additional customs permit may be required, particularly for medications on the narcotics or psychotropics list. 8. Use transparent containers and medical organizers. When it comes to packing medicine for a trip, organization isn't just a matter of convenience, it's essential. Scattered blisters, boxes, and bottles in your suitcase take up space and complicate airport screening. That's why it's best to use transparent containers or medical organizers where everything is visible at a glance. Transparency is the key to smooth security checks. Airport staff can immediately see that you're carrying nothing suspicious. There's no need to unpack everything or explain what each item is. With a clear view of packaging, names, and dosages, inspections go faster, especially in countries with strict health or customs regulations. Pill organizers with separate compartments are also great for long trips. You can divide your medication by day and time, morning, afternoon, evening. But remember, for international flights, These organizers should only be used in addition to the original packaging and prescriptions. Without proper labels, unmarked pills may raise questions at the checkpoint. Ninth, check the expiration date of every medicine. Before placing any medication in your travel kit, check the expiration date carefully. It may seem like common sense, but expired drugs are one of the most common causes of trouble when traveling, from failed treatments to raised red flags during security checks. Expiration dates aren't just numbers. They represent the safety and legality of the medication. In hot climates, humid conditions, or under high pressure during transit, unstable compounds degrade faster. Even if a medication is due to expire in a month, it's safer to replace it with a fresh one. This is especially important for antibiotics, hormones, eye drops, insulin, or anything requiring precise dosing. An expired drug may either be ineffective or trigger side effects. Expired pills and ointments also tend to raise suspicion at border control. Even if the packaging looks fine, a visible expired date can result in the item being confiscated, especially if it's a prescription or strong drug. Border agents won't ask why you didn't replace it. They'll simply deem it unsafe. 10. Pack liquids separately. All medicinal liquids, including drops, syrups, solutions, ointments, gels, and sprays, must be packed in a separate transparent Ziploc bag, especially if you're carrying them in your hand luggage. This isn't just a recommendation, it's an international rule. On board, you're only allowed to bring liquids in containers of no more than 100 milliliters, and all of them must fit inside a single 1-liter bag. If you place a bottle of syrup or eye drops in your general first aid kit without this clear packaging, security may ask you to unpack and reorganize everything. What's more, medications not stored in transparent bags may be seen as a violation of liquid transportation rules, even if they're clearly for medical use. That can lead to delays, extra scrutiny, and even confiscation of the item. Even creams and ointments are classified as liquids. These must also go into the plastic bag. This will help avoid misunderstandings, especially in airports where security staff follow the rules strictly and by the book. And if you have a prescription, keep it in the same bag with the liquid medication so it's easy to prove its purpose when asked. 11th, don't store medicine with food or cosmetics. One of the most common and careless travel mistakes is to toss everything in together. Pills next to chocolate, eye drops mixed with lotions, antiseptics among snacks. It may seem convenient when packing, but it's risky during the flight and at security. Medications are a special category and should be treated with care, not as random items at the bottom of your bag. First, keeping them next to cosmetics or food increases the risk of contamination. Pills can absorb perfume scents, ointments may mix with creams, and syrup bottles can get sticky from melted candy. This isn't just unpleasant, it can be dangerous. Spoiled or tainted medication might trigger allergies, lose its effect, or even become harmful. Second, anything that looks like a drug will be subject to extra inspection. If it's mixed in with unrelated items, it'll all have to be pulled out, sorted, and screened on the conveyor belt. That causes delays and extra questions, especially if the medication is in an opaque jar buried between beauty products and snacks. 12th, be mindful of pressure changes, especially for sprays and inhalers. During a flight, the cabin experiences major pressure and temperature shifts that can affect the stability of medication packaging and even cause some drugs to become hazardous. This is especially true for sprays, inhalers, aerosols, and any canisters with gas or pressurized liquid. If these products aren't packed correctly, they can leak, swell up, or even burst inside your bag. There have been cases where an inhaler started hissing in a backpack, or a spray bottle of antiseptic spilled and ruined important documents and clothes. To avoid this, make sure the cap is tightly sealed and pack the item in an airtight plastic bag, ideally cushioned with fabric or bubble wrap. If the medication is stored in an aluminum canister or glass bottle, be especially cautious. These materials are sensitive to pressure shifts and may crack if your bag is squeezed or dropped during baggage handling. That's why such items should always go in your carry-on bag, not checked luggage. 13th, make sure the packaging is readable, not faded. At first glance, this might seem like a small detail, but it can play a crucial role during airport screening. If your medication's packaging has illegible text, a smudged expiration date, or worn-out ingredient labels, security officers may doubt the drug's legality. As a result, it could lead to delays, confiscation, or even questioning and investigation. In some countries, simply having pills or drops in your first aid kit is not enough. The packaging must be clearly readable, sealed, and display the name, manufacturer logo, dosage, and instructions. This is especially important for strong medications, hormones, painkillers, and any substances that are controlled. Even ordinary vitamins can raise red flags if they're packed in worn-out or generic containers. Before your trip, inspect every blister pack and box carefully. If the writing is faded, washed off, or discolored with age, replace the packaging. It's better to buy a new box or use a blister with fresher labeling. Also ensure the expiration date is clearly visible and hasn't been rubbed off during transport. Even if the medicine is still valid, unclear packaging may appear suspicious and be treated as expired. 14th, notify the airline about medical devices in advance. If you're traveling with medical devices, such as an inhaler, glucose meter, blood pressure monitor, CPAP machine, insulin pump, or portable oxygen concentrator, it's essential to inform the airline ahead of time. Even if the device doesn't require special permission, it's best to declare it before your flight to avoid issues during boarding, security checks, or while in the air. Many of these devices contain batteries, electronics, or appear unusual to security personnel. At checkpoints, they can raise questions, especially if you're unable to clearly explain their function. By declaring your equipment in advance, you receive official medical passenger status, which makes procedures smoother. Airlines are obligated to allow necessary medical equipment on board, but only if it's documented before the flight. The best time to declare your device? When booking your ticket, or shortly afterward, through a contact form, call center, or your airline profile. Often, the airline will ask for a doctor's note or device passport to register your right to travel with it.